All right, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk, 888-589-8840, number to call. Got an interesting story here about a guy that's running for governor in Tennessee. His name is Mark Coon-Rippy Brown, and he's running for governor because the state of Tennessee took his raccoon away and wouldn't give it back to him. So he's going to run for governor so he can get his raccoon back. So that's the question. What would the governor of your state have to take away from you to convince you to run for governor? So, Jeff, what would the state of Mississippi have to take away from you to convince you to run for governor?
No, that would have to be my dog.
Your dog.
My dog.
So if the state came after your dog, you'd run for governor to get your dog back.
Yeah, or give it a week, they'll probably give her back.
Yeah, it's like saw this ad for I think it was some kind of a pet. They were looking for it, and the ad said answers to the name go away. So same kind of deal. All right, Rob, how about for you? What would the state have to take away from you to convince you to run for
He's kind of tied up in video switching right now.
Rob is just dodging that question. He's just dodging it.
Yeah, you caught on.
Something tells me it's got something to do with a shotgun or a hunting rifle or something like that. So I don't know what it would be for me. I guess if he came after my golf clubs, maybe.
Yeah, it
Golf
definitely
clubs,
would be your golf clubs.
Yeah, that
Not your cat.
No, you can have the cats, but golf clubs, that's a whole different deal.
His Harley.
Oh, yeah,
Rob
there you go.
answered.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, can you come on? Use your mic live?
Yeah, give him 1 second.
Okay, let's give Rob 1 second because he's actually got a pretty good answer to this question.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the Harley. You know, you take my Harley and that'd be it.
So you'd run for governor
You
to
bet
get your Harley back.
You bet you. He'd have a hard way to go.
All right. So maybe what we could do is we could run on we could run as a ticket.
Yeah.
We could give our state 3 for the price of 1. Jeff, you could get your dog back, I could get my golf clubs back, and Rob could get his Harley back, and the people of Mississippi would be happier for it.
Brian, his whole sole purpose of running is to get his raccoon back?
Yeah, that's the deal.
Okay.
Yeah. He said some kind of agency there targeted, even his raccoon even has a name. It's Rebecca.
Rebecca.
So they took Rebecca, and he wants Rebecca, the raccoon, back. And so he's ticked off. He's not got his raccoon back. All right. So if we do decide to do this, ladies and gentlemen, you will be the first to know. And Rob and Jeff and I will announce our platform in exhausting detail. Let's go back to the sound bites. Rob, if we can grab clip number 3 and 4. This has to do with this disastrous rollout of Obamacare. I don't know if you heard Senator Rand Paul's story. He's trying to get insurance for his family through Obamacare, and he can't do it. And his kid got actually signed up for Medicaid without even asking for it. And here's when they weren't trying for Medicaid, Senator Paul's trying to sign him up on insurance. He's trying to pay for his insurance, but the state of Tennessee, remember the state of Tennessee, we're always told, hey, state of Tennessee, they're knocking it out of the park. They got it going on when it comes to this healthcare business. So Rand Paul's trying to sign him up on the family insurance plan, trying to pay for his insurance, cannot do it. And instead, they automatically enrolled him in Medicaid. So then they called health officials to get some help with this problem, and the officials refused to discuss the matter because they weren't sure the son actually existed. So they enroll him in Medicaid. They send him a Medicaid card. Then the family calls to straighten it out. We're not going to talk to you because your son doesn't even exist. Even though we enrolled him in Medicaid and sent you a Medicaid card, we don't even think he exists. So they finally had to go down there. The son had to go down to the welfare office to prove that he existed, to prove that he was alive and didn't belong on Medicaid, and they still got their Medicaid card. And Senator Paul has no idea whether he's enrolled in D.C., whether he's enrolled in Kentucky, whether he's enrolled in both places. Every time he tries to go to the website to edit it to be sure his son's included on the policy, he gets an error message. It is a first-rate, total, upside-down disaster, and it is only going to get worse. David Gregory, NBC and Meet the Press, said this is a quote talking to a guy by the name of Dr. Cosgrove, some expert. Thank you both for helping us get beyond the debates about Obamacare. I'd love to have you back. And as this thing unravels over the course of the year, not unravels in a bad way, but continues to roll out over the course of the year. So David Gregory uses the word unravels. He says this thing is going to unravel over the course of the year. Not that that's bad. Not bad for this thing to unravel, but it's going to be unraveling over the course of the whole year, and we'd like to bring you guys in to do the autopsy. Now here is Chuck Todd, clip number 3, talking with David Gregory. And Gregory's question to Chuck Todd of NBC is, how does President Obama get his presidency back on track here? Let's listen.
Chuck Todd, a year of action, the president said 2014 would be. So how does he take his presidency back?
Well, it's going to have to start with making sure healthcare works. I mean, at the end of, it was interesting. I was talking with some administration officials over the weekend, and I said, so what's your January going to look like? And they ticked off a whole bunch of issues. Confirmation of Janet Yellen, fight for unemployment insurance. We're going to have those NSA reforms. They started ticking through all these issues. They sort of left out healthcare completely. I said, so what does healthcare look like? Well, they said as long as everything continues to get a little bit better, they think they can somehow ease things. And ultimately, no matter what, they would like to be talking about anything other than healthcare.
Right. So that's the important takeaway there. Chuck Todd says, look, the administration, they would like to be talking about anything other than healthcare. It might be climate change. It might be the debt ceiling. It might be unemployment benefits, but they are going to try to distract us from this unrolling, unfolding, unraveling disaster of Obamacare. Now, Jeff Merkley, this is clip 4, Senator Jeff Merkley from the state of Oregon, that's another state that's experienced an absolute total disaster. They spent $300 million. They signed up 44 people. That is not an exaggeration. It's not a typo. They spent $300 million in the state of Oregon. They actually enrolled 44 people. The director of their health state exchange resigned over the weekend. He or she is done. They're toast. They're out of there for sheer ineptitude and incompetence. So Jeff Merkley, now they're back in session now this week, but he's back home having town hall meetings. And the media caught up with somebody that was in attendance at one of his town hall meetings. And here's what he had to say about Senator Jeff Merkley.
Not everyone in attendance was pleased with the job Senator Merkley has done at the Capitol, especially when it comes to health care.
It's interesting that he would come and not say anything about it, and yet he followed the Democrats over the cliff like a bunch of sheep when they voted for this bill.
So Jeff Merkley doesn't want to talk about it. Obama doesn't want to talk about Obamacare. Jeff Merkley, who was a big-time supporter of it, he doesn't want to talk about Obamacare. Let's go to clip 6. Mark Pryor just had some callers on from the state of Arkansas. Mark Pryor is a Democrat, represents the state of Arkansas. Here is Politico's John Harris talking about the Senate race between Mark Pryor, this is clip 5, who is the incumbent, and he's being challenged by Congressman Tom Cotton. Here's what John Harris had to say about that.
John, yesterday you and I talked about the top gubernatorial races to watch this year. Right. Let's move over to the Senate now, and we want to begin in Arkansas, where the incumbent Mark Pryor going up against Republican Congressman Tom Cotton. What to watch for there?
Yeah, you'll remember, Willie, last time Mark Pryor skated to election. This time he's got a really, really stiff battle, and what has happened is he's been nationalized in Arkansas. The trick is to present yourself as an Arkansas Democrat. Obama is so unpopular in that state. Obamacare is so unpopular in that state. He now looks like a national Democrat.
So they're dragging Mark Pryor down. And you got Democrats all across the fruited plain. They're trying to get as far away from President Obama, trying to get as far away from Obamacare as they can. One last clip before we go back to the phones. Jeff, can we grab audio bite number 7A7? Kathleen Sebelius, CBO, was talking about we need to get 7 million. 7 million is the target. Got to get 7 million people signed up to make this thing work. 40% of them have to be between 18 and 34. We got to get those young, healthy people that are paying through the nose for a product that they're never going to need because they're healthy, they're young, they're invincible. We got to soak them. We got to take money from the young and the poor, transfer it to the old and the affluent. That's what this whole program is about. Got to have 7 million. Got to have 40% of them be 18 to 24. Now, listen to how they are changing their tune. David Gregory talking with Gene Sperling of the Obama administration.
2.1 million have signed up. The goal is 7 million by March. How do you think you realistically get there? You seem to be far behind.
First of all, there's no magic number. The key is to enroll as many people, have an exchange that's working, have a stable...
The Secretary of Health and Human Services said that was success, 7 million people by March.
I think success is having an ongoing, strong market. And I want to disagree with Chuck Todd. I am anxious to talk, and we are anxious to talk about what health care means.
So Chuck Todd says, man, they want to talk about anything but Obamacare. He says, hey, I want to talk about it. So David Gregory says, fine, let's talk about the 7 million number that Kathleen Sebelius said is the target, the mark of success. He says, I don't want to talk about that. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Wendell in Vincennes, Indiana. We grab Wendell. Welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Brian. I just wanted to say AFR, and especially you, is a breath of fresh air to the media industry, and I love listening to you.
Great. Well, thank you.
I wanted to say also about the First Amendment, you have a clear understanding of it, and endorsement is not enforcement. And all you'd have to do is ask, when some of these people complain about some kind of a so-called enforcement, say, well, what's the name of that law or the number of that law that Congress enacted to establish a religion?
Yeah.
Well, they can't come up with it, so there is no such thing.
Yeah, well, very good. Well, that's great, Wendell. And, you make a good point, because a lot of times you will see the phrase endorsement of religion as if the Constitution prohibits the endorsement of religion. It does no such thing. What it prohibits is the establishment of religion. And see, the people on the left, they know that endorsement, that just means saying nice things about something. That's endorsement. Government can do all of that they want. The Constitution, even Congress is not prohibited from endorsing religion. They can say as many nice things as they want about religion without violating the First Amendment. What they can't do is pick one Christian denomination and make it the official church of the United States. Endorsement is fine. Establishment is what Congress cannot do. Focal Point, AFR Talk.